Good morning, I am Lexi and welcome back to Bookbinding Tutorials. You're going to follow along as I continue the bookbind that we started. I am rebinding Dark Fae by Carolyn Peckham and Suzanne Valenti. We left off with our text block. It's all printed. It's got its inlays and stuff, or overlays. We're going to put that off to the side because right now, off camera, I made two pieces for it. This is the front cover and the back cover. How I made this was I cut book board, which we're going to do for the spine, so I'm still going to show you how to do this. And ignore my camera that wants to keep moving. I've been trying and it's not cooperating, so I'm going to try to keep everything in camera. I've got another mount coming, but for right now this is all I got. So you take the same width as your text block, and then for the height you add, at least I add, a 1/4 inch. That way 1/8 of an inch sticks up from both the top and the bottom, and then when we put the hinge in, it'll stick out about 1/8 of an inch from every edge, kind of like this. So I'll do it again where I don't make these two off camera. Well, I made them on camera, but lost the footage, so there went that. So we're going to continue with these. I'm going to finish where we were, and we're going to keep going. So we still need the end papers for our text block. So what I've done is, this is cardstock. I use the Recollections brand from Michaels because I am going to foil it. I could not find exactly what I wanted on Amazon or in the stores or anything, so I figured I'm going to make it myself. I have a ink machine and both an inkjet and a laser printer, and what that allows me to do is, just like for those, the purple part of this is photo paper, so the purple part was printed on my inkjet printer, and then I ran it through my laser printer, and the black part is printed in toner. So what happens is, when I cover it with foil and run it through my ink machine, the foil will adhere to anything that the toner printer has printed on. So for this, I think I'm going to do silver for the inside. I need gold out for those, and then I need the purple. Put the rest of this away for right now. So before we can really do any more with the text block, we've got a lot of things to foil. So this is the foil sheet. Or the foil protective sheet, I'm sorry. So we're going to do one at a time. First, I need to turn on the ink machine. For this, I'm going to set it to 4, and I've got to let it heat up. I have found that I need really sharp scissors. These came from the Dollar Tree. They are the Jot brand, and you wouldn't think that Dollar Tree scissors would be any good, but let me tell you what, these cut through fabric like butter. So I use them only for things such as foil or fabric, which require extremely sharp scissors. So I printed this design from Canva, and I'm going to cut foil. Need a brush. Bookbinding can be a cheap hobby if you just want to do basic things, or if you get obsessed with it like I have, it becomes pretty expensive. I have 4 printers. I have my Eco Tank, which I love it because it prints really decently, like really, really good, and the ink is basically free. Like, I can get a full set of inks for less than $10, and they last probably about 5-6 times as much as regular ink cartridges. So, like, it's pennies to print, and I couldn't be happier about that. So, I love my inkjet, or my Eco Tank, I'm sorry. And then also I have an HP OfficeJet Pro, and it does my double-sided printing. It's new, so I'm really happy about that because I'm not having to switch my each signature over with and then reprint on the back side. It's just amazing. So I've got this covered. Oh, I've already forgotten a step. Because it's been out and I do have dogs, I want to make sure there is no dog hair or lint or dust or anything on that paper. And then I'm going to run it through. While it is running through, I'm going to set up the second one. Oh, I was talking about the printers. I'm so sorry. So, that printer does my forward and backward, or front and back printing. Then I have my Canon, what is it called? Image class toner printer or laser printer. And it has colored, but I just got it on Marketplace for $40. Couldn't beat it. I just use it to print in black just for this right here. And then I got really lucky and found a Canon Pro 100 on Marketplace for $160, and it does my large scale printing. So things like printing a new cover for ACOTAR, it prints all the way up to borderless 13 by 24, which, I mean, can't complain. So this came out. Let us cross our fingers that everything adhered properly. You want to try to scoop it all up in one if possible. Don't like do it slowly. You want to rip the band-aid off. And it's absolutely stunning. Oh, I really hope that shows up on the camera. It doesn't, but just trust me, it's absolutely... Let me try to get a flashlight on it. It's just full silver. There's no black anymore. It looks kind of black just because of the camera, but everything is silver. Anything that was black is now silver. Could not be happier. That's exactly what I wanted as an end page. So now we're going to stick the other one in. I get my foils from a lady who only sells on Facebook, and they're extremely cheap and really good quality. It is called Bluebonnet Foil on Facebook. I will link her in the comments or in the description below just so that you can find her if you wish to buy foil, if you want to get into foiling your own. I'm going to put that through. Make sure you always put it in horizontally, just because the very first time I put one through, I used to have two big sheets like this so I could alternate, but I put it through crooked and it just got caught in there and ruined my folder. So just be careful. So I'm done with the silver. Next, we're gonna do this, and I'm gonna foil a couple other sheets as well, just because we have to laminate them, and my laminating pouches are 17 by 11, so I need to put 4 sheets in it to really not waste any. I use the green painter's tape to kind of tape it down so that I'm not ruining my foil, except I can't find the edge. There we go. My ink machine is probably one of my favorite bookbinding tools at the moment. I'm going to turn it down to 3 for this. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little bit of a line here. I don't have any acetone. Acetone would take that off. And what that came from is another thing I foiled. That I didn't cover all of the toner, and the toner kind of melted onto the sheet, and I don't want it to melt onto my purple page. So I just covered up with a strip. Also, I know it's a problem with laser printers, but some of my prints I've got them to where most of them don't, but every now and then one of my prints will have these drum lines. So I keep little strips of paper to kind of go over that, so I try to keep them from melting onto my transfer folder. Once again, it's beautiful. Oh, I had it really good. Yep, you can kind of see there. It's just beautiful. Can't go wrong. If you want something a certain way, why not make it yourself instead of trying to buy it? Alrighty. See, none of that came off onto this page, so I know that it's so minimal that it's not going to bleed onto my other pages. I don't know if you can see it, but that purple came out beautiful. You can kind of see that it took it all out from the page. So the next book I'm doing is book number 2, obviously. So I'm going to start with those pages, and this is going to be foiled in gold. Just because I do not want to waste a page of laminating sheet is what I was trying to say. I'm so sorry. Gotta make sure it covers. Now, because we have the lines on this page, I'm going to add in the papers. So what's really cool is with things such as this, the background that you print doesn't have to be obviously solid. You can print everything but the words in inkjet and then print the words over it in your laser printer, so just the words of something are foiled. So for example, what I just put through, for example, this. Say I only wanted the words on this in the purple foil. What I would have done is I would have printed all the lip marks and everything but the words in the inkjet, and then I would have run it through and had the laser printer print the words. It took a little bit of finagling with my laser printer. Thankfully, it has a setting where I can literally move where it prints by the millimeter, up, down, sideways, just to make sure it's printing in the right spot to match up. Oh, that's just gorgeous. Yeah, you can see that one easier. That gold on the red is stunning. One more. These I've just printed out. It was just the one at the beginning that had been sitting, which is why I wanted to brush it off and make sure it didn't have any dust or dog hair on it. But these, all the rest, the other one of the end pages and all these covers, I had literally just printed before I started the video. So I only want the fronts of, oh no, I don't want these laminated. These are not to be laminated. That's what was happening. The end pages do not get laminated. I almost made a big mistake. That is why I printed all these off. I only want the fronts of each of these pages to be laminated, and that's just to protect them because it is photo paper. If you scratch it, the ink is going to come off. So I can protect it by laminating. So the way to do that is make them front to back. Not quite so easy sometimes to line them up, but we'll get there. Now we're going to put it through the ink machine to laminate it. This one you kind of want to hold on to just to make sure the pages stay where they're supposed to be. At least just until the second set gets in the rollers. Okay, our pages are laminated, so we need to turn off the ink machine. And we are going to grab our not good scissors. We're going to start trimming. You want to go right up the side. You can even cut a tiny bit off. We're not going to be using all the way to the edges anyway. And as you can see, as we cut, they are separating. See, I got a hair in there. You just gotta be careful. Thankfully, that's not going to be showing on our cover, so I don't need to redo it. There was another hair I thought was under it, it was just on top. So now what you have are your covers that are nice and laminated and nothing's going to hurt them. And then the back is still the paper, which allows the glue to stick really well. I'm going to set those off to the side for right now. Do the rest. That's the one we need to work with. The rest can be set out of the way because we are not doing book number 2 yet. What I want to do is I want to put them under something so hopefully they can get uncurled. It's not going to hurt nothing, it's just bothers me. Alright, so because we're making the spine, I know that I messed up. Let me see if it's salvageable, because I'm not sure it is. just barely salvageable. I'm going to work with it though. I forgot to change the size of this. I had measured the spine of the wrong book for book number 1, and I made it the wrong size. I made this for 1.25 inch width, and it's supposed to be 1 inch. So right now I need to cut my book board, and I like to use my little guillotine for that. I try to keep it taped so I don't cut myself. This one doesn't have a lock. I don't like that. So I need 1 inch. So this is, I'm gonna put it to 1 inch. We've got perfectly and perfect. So we're going to put the guillotine up. So I did it the wrong way because I got a new industrial guillotine that cuts my text blocks, and I got cut happy. So I cut the text block before I should have. I should have waited until after the end pages were on. I did not. So we're gonna fold these in half. Grab my PVA glue. Grab my text block. If I think about it, sometimes I will put the end pages on before I'll glue the spines. Sometimes I won't. It just depends. Most of the times I don't. So I'm going to put a tiny bit up the spine. And we're going to glue it down. I'm going to hold it for just a second. PVA glue dries extremely quickly. I love it. Flip it over. I put that on upside down, so I just messed it all up. PVA glue dries so fast. Because I forgot there was words on it, so pay attention, unlike me. So I want it on this side. Normally it's not an issue, but I'm glad I thought of it before I finished the book. So you're watching me make tons of mistakes today, but that's okay because it is always a learning process. So we need to make sure I'm going to glue the right side. See, it's like this. I did it wrong. Of course. I am not having a great day. It's okay. We can still fix it. I want it like this, so the glue needs to go on this side. There we go. It just took 800 tries. So we've got end page. Then you get to the end, another end page. So if I've cut my text block already, then I have to figure out my end pages. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace around them and cut them with scissors. I can just follow the line. Actually, probably be best to use early. I don't like doing it with the pages done because it's easy to get off track and cut the pages. Just take my word for it. The best way to do it is to make sure your end pages are on before you cut your text block in your big guillotine. That way you don't have to go through that. So, now we have this and this. What I do is I have a nice photography light right behind there, which makes it decently bright in here. I like to hold the board behind the page, kind of see through it to make sure it's right exactly where I want it. Flip it down, hold it tight, and then I'm going to draw around it. I like using the silicone brushes the best because I don't have to hop up and go wash them every time I use them. So we're going to put a thin coat of PVA glue all the way down it. And quickly put our board on there because remember it dries very, very quickly. I'm gonna hold it on there pretty good. Flip it over. Make sure everything is flat and adhered well. And then I'm going to start folding just to get it started. You probably weren't able to see that because of my stupid camera angle. I just put PVA glue the edges. I'm going to hold it down until it's adhered. I really want to define that crease as well. So I'm going to do it this way. That's what I like this smaller bone folder for. It's just got a really nice edge and it makes it easier to define the crease. Okay, so once it is glued, it's a tiny bit off, but not bad. It's good enough. I'm going to take my 7mm what is this called? A hinge gap spacer or whatever. And I'm going to draw a line. I have found 7mm works for me the best out of any of them. I feel like the others are either too small or too long or too big. Okay, so I don't need this all the way across, so a little bit after the markings, I'm going to start cutting. Toss the edges. Once again, I'm gonna so now we have to attach it. Now this is called a 3-piece bridal bind, the way I'm doing this, and I do the 3-piece just because I want them foiled. Otherwise I can print them all on an 11x17 and all of these can be put on one. Next book I'll do one where everything is just on one 11x17 page and it's just the regular bridal bind. But we're going to take our text block, put it in here, measure and make sure the markings we've got are perfect, and they look very, very close. So this kind of calls for 2 steps. The PVA glue does attach the laminated to the laminated, just not as well. So what I'm going to do is cover it all in PVA. And then quickly put a couple dabs of super glue. Make sure it's not coming out the edge. It's pretty good. Measure it one more time. It is perfect. So the super glue makes sure that the edge, the top edge that is not attaching to any cardboard, it's just the plastic on plastic is going to adhere well. So we're going to do the same for the back. Before it sets, we need to make sure we're good. I'm getting glue everywhere. Okay. So as this is drying, we're gonna get our headbands. And our bookmark ready. I got a pack of ribbon on Amazon. I got like 40 colors for, what was it, $12? And I feel like it just saved a lot of money because one color like this, while there's more of this costs $2. So that would be $80 of ribbon, and I don't know if I'm going to use it all. So I'm going to try to color match. That seems pretty perfect. And because I'm going to put a charm on this, I want to cut it long enough that I can attach it to the bottom, have it go up through the book, and hang down the top. So I'll just cut it here. I hate that the camera does this. Okay. Now that I've adjusted the cover, or the camera, we need to find a matching headband. As always, everything that I use that I got off Amazon will be listed in the description below. So you can grab anything that you wish. I didn't even realize it had a purple one in there. I love that this has just about anything. If I get just a random color that I want to do, and I'm like, ooh, I'll probably have to just find the closest. Nope, it's always in there somehow. Always have the right color. So this is the bottom. First we're going to glue the bookmark. Straight up the middle. And then we need to glue on the headbands. I'm sorry, the camera's just gonna keep moving. There is nothing I can do about it until I get my new mount in, and that's gonna take a while. That allows me to pull the bookmark up through the book. See how much it's going to hang down. I want it to be about right here. And then I've also got a bunch of these ribbon end clamps off of Amazon. And it comes in 5 colors. It has silver, gold, rose gold, like a burnished coppery, I don't know what that would be called. It's got like a blackish silver, and then a bright silver. I don't know, there's 5 or 6 different colors. I think there's only 5. And then I also got a pack of 5mm jump rings on Amazon as well. It came in a really cute container, except I didn't want to put all these loose in that container, and I know I would lose it. So I want silver, so I'm gonna grab I already did. Grab a silver one out. A silver jump ring. The only thing I hate about the jump rings is they are just so tiny and they all stick together. And then I'm not 100% enamored with the charms that I just got, but there are some cute ones. I just feel like for $8 I should have gotten a better variety. I'm gonna dump them out and just find something. I want something with a star, I know. Maybe that one. I don't know about a shooting star. So what I wasn't 100% happy about was there's only like 80 pieces in it, and I feel like half of them are just all the same thing. They're like a mixture of like 3 different things. There are like 12 or so of these in there. And then the same with the little pentagrams. So that's what I'm not exactly happy about with. Like, it's just, there's just so many. And the amount of these bronze shooting stars just drives me insane. But I think I'm going to go with this star right here. Alright. Nothing is better than a jump ring. We're going to take our pliers out and be very careful. And try to get it as straight as possible. And attach it onto the end of your ribbon. So I use the 3/8 ribbon and then the 1 centimeter ribbon end clamp. Okay. Now the last part. We need to attach the book into its case. And to do that, I have to use the actual paintbrush. Because it goes faster, because this stuff dries so fast. I just did that without. Trust me, make sure you put parchment paper in between, especially if you have overlays, because when it gets damp from the drying glue, it'll run your ink. Okay. I try not to use too much, but make sure you get all the way to the edges. And then what's really important is to open it up, take your bone folder, and smooth it out. Try to get out as many of those wrinkles as you can. And then we're going to keep the clean piece of parchment paper in there and start on the back. Now, because this is wet, we don't want to mess with that. We're going to put another clean piece of parchment and do the same thing. Quickly put the new parchment in, finish pressing. Smooth it out. Now what we're going to do is we're going to keep those in there and put it in a book press. Normally I would use the one that doesn't have paint all over it. So like usual, I did most of this out of order because I also went to spray my edges. And I should have done that before I put the case on. Next time I need to make a list to make sure I do everything in order. I normally don't spray the edges, which is why I didn't think to do that this time. Because it's new, like just getting my spray done recently is new. So that's okay because we can tape it off and still do it. And then on the next one we can make sure to do the edges before we put the case on. Anyways, we're going to wait for this to dry and then we will be back and see what it looks like at the end. Okay, we're back. We have had our book pressing. After gluing it all together. We're still going to need that, so I'm going to keep that. Let's check it out. Of course, somehow glue got in there. I must have used a used glue page. Well, that sucks. It's okay. For right now, here's our book. It's got a beautiful bookmark, beautiful end pages. So right now, what we forgot to do, or I forgot to do, is I wanted to spray the edges. And I should have done that before I put the cover on at all. But I got ahead of myself because I don't normally do sprayed edges and forgot I was doing that with this series. So, sorry, there's glue on the... I want to make sure it comes off. How is that still damp? Is the next one damp? No. See, you have to be really careful because the dampness from the glue, I forgot my camera sucks. The dampness from the glue can seep through and kind of get onto your pages. Since this is for me, I really just don't care. So I guess from now on, I will have a paper here and a paper in between there just to make sure. But for right now, I do want to put a paper in here just to keep it safe while we spray. That one's fine. There's no, like, obviously it gets damp inside, but there's no picture for it to ruin. So, what I need to do right now, since I didn't spray it before, I need to take this paper bag and I am going to wrap this up so that only the pages show. And I'm going to put that in fast forward so you don't have to watch all that. So I've got everything prepped. It's all wrapped up and I've got it super tight in the press. And then we're going to kind of move the camera. It's not cooperating, remember, so hopefully it'll stay to where you can watch. You know this paint is supposed to be thin enough. It is not, so add a little bit of it. Actually, that's stick. Okay, after a short mishap, I had it put together wrong. So I want to try to get all the moisture out as possible before I put the paint back in. Because I just had water in it. Second time's charm, right? That's why we always do test. Make sure it's not clumping up at the nozzle. It seems pretty decently covered, enough that I'm happy with it. Maybe do a tiny bit more on the side. Okay. I'm going to pour the rest of that paint back in the purple. We don't waste paint around here. I'm gonna go clean this out and I will be back and we'll check what it looks like. 100% finished. Okay, here it is. Time for the final reveal. Alright, so here's our finished product. Oh, I forgot we need to crack the spine. Oops. This is one of my favorite parts. Sometimes it sticks together really badly, and then sometimes it's good. I think it's good this time. Maybe. These two are stuck together. Every now and then, like if you're doing 2 layers, so say you want a silver dragons and a black foreground, then you're going to want to do the silver first on the first layer, put your stencils on, and then paint your black. And sometimes with having that extra layer, it makes it, the paint build up just enough that every now and then you need to go through every page and make sure, like you can kind of see right here how these 2 pages down here at the bottom and up at the top are a little stuck together. You just pull them apart. But make sure when you're spraying your edges that you have your book pressed as tightly as possible, because otherwise you're going to get spray inside your pages and it does not look very pretty. So we're going to here's book number 1. Oh, still got some tape on it. So, I think the next book we're going to do, I will choose one where I can do a full wrap cover, you know, printed on the like 11 by 17 paper, and not have to do the 3-piece Bradle bind. We can just do the full solid, which makes it a lot easier because like you don't have to glue the covers to the spine and things like that. Either way, it came out pretty darn perfect, if I don't say so myself. I'm extremely happy with it. So thanks for hanging out with me today, and like I said, next time we're gonna choose a different book to redo, and we'll make it a full wrap cover.